I always
And
back up
just in case.
on my phone, so it's recording
No,
already.
we only have the one, so I'm fine, give it a little bit of time. That's good with you guys. We had 7, maybe.
Yeah. It's okay.
Notice was posted in accordance with Wisconsin statute 19.884 open meeting law. At this time, the secretary will read the notice of public hearing, please.
Variance 2433 Keasley. Public notice is hereby given all persons in the town of Jackson, Burnett County, Wisconsin, that Robert Keasley has made an application relative to a proposal to vary the terms of the Burnett County Land Use and Shoreline Protection Code of ordinances as follows: to construct a new dwelling at a reduced setback to the ordinary high water mark of North Sand Lake and at a reduced road setback located at 27784 Leaf Road in the RR1 zoning district in Government Lot 3, Section 26, 4015.
Thank you. At this time, we'll seek approval of the agenda order. Motion by Schmidt, do I have a second? Daniel, seconds. Any other discussion on the agenda order as approved or motioned? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries to approve the agenda. At this time, we'll read through the meeting procedures. This hearing is being recorded, we think. So we ask that only one person speak at a time. When your variance appeal request is announced, we ask that whoever is presenting that case, that they come up to the table, sit in the chair. You will then present your case. The board may ask additional questions during this process. Once you're done presenting the case, the board has no additional questions for you. You will return to your seat. The board will then open the public hearing. Those speaking during the public hearing will have a 3-minute time limit. When you are called upon for public comment, please state your name for the record. Make comments to the Board of Adjustment members only. No questioning or arguments between individuals in the audience. Any written correspondence will be mentioned at this time as well. Once all public speaking is concluded, the board will close the public hearing. The board may then follow up with additional questions for the applicant. The board will then deliberate the case amongst themselves, and you will likely have a verbal decision tonight. The board may table or defer action whenever it concludes that additional evidence is needed or further study is required. If a decision is made tonight, then the next Board of Adjustment meeting, the board members will sign the decision document. Once that document is filed in the office of the Board of Adjustment, usually within a few days of the signature, the 30-day appeal limit will start. Any person aggrieved by this decision or any applicant, officer, department, board, or bureau of the county or town may within 30 days after the filing of this decision in the office of the Board of Adjustment commence an action in circuit court seeking a remedy available by certiorari.
All right, that is annoying the heck right out of me. I'm gonna try turning that projector off. Should still be recording because the cameras are not part of the projector, so should still be good. That's what we're going with.
At this time, we can open variance 2433. Kelsey. Construction dwelling at a reduced setback of the ordinary height government on North Sand Lake and a reduced roadside setback. You'd like to come up?
Okay. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Hopefully no margaritas until after the meeting. My name is Bob Keasley. Jamie, my wife, is back there. She wanted me to be in the hot seat today, so This was this is the second time for the variance. It was pushed last time we had the discussion for more information, et cetera. I'll keep this brief, but we've been on the lake for 25 years now. Good stewards of the lake. We've decided that we will be spending more time up here. We want to live up here more full time. And so that's what this is all about. So we're planning at some point to sell our house in the cities and move up here. And then if we decide to go down south for a while, we'll do that too. So some of the things about what we'd want to do, like I said, this is going to be our residence. So a garage is important to us. We don't have one right now. And we want to build it in a way where when we have guests, we can entertain at our house and have the space for people when they come up. There was the last time we had the discussion, there was three concerns about the amount or what we had constructed or what we wanted to propose. One was the height. The height, now we moved to a 2-floor plan versus a 3-floor plan. So that got us into the right height zone for the lake, as we understand it. The second was the garage, and the entrance to the garage was going directly out the Leaf Road. And we found we're going to have to take out a sizable amount of trees in the back, but we can divert it at 90 degrees to go out through that way to make it more safe coming out to Leaf Road. And the third was, is there any way to, where our north point, we're not moving it any further closer to the lake or north, because that's where the swamp is. But we're able with the new construction to move it another 5 feet back. And it's not at the, it's not at the lake. It's at a swamp, which is now, it doesn't have water in it. But it's from that point. Otherwise, if it was from to the lake itself, it's probably 55, 60 feet if you don't include that swamp. Or if that swamp was up there, that dry out bed. But we got it back another 5 feet, I think, just based on the terrain and the elevation. It's hard to get it back any further because it puts it too far into the hillside. And then the last thing just to mention was our driveway, because we're going to do the driveway or the garage at the top, then the impervious tarred road that goes down to the lake, we would no longer need. So that would come out of the project as well. So that eliminates a pretty significant amount of tarred space down by the lake. So I think that's positive too. Yeah, and I think was there anything else, Mark? You had a drawing. I wanted to make sure everyone.
Plan, Mark Crowley from Wagner Survey, site plan number 5 that showed the updated things, and there should be notes on the bottom that these are stated. And the five impervious area was 19.8.
And 5.
Yeah, it's this, they have everything. It's just a
Yeah.
matter of finding.
Yeah, the site plan E, and then the notes that Bob just discussed were the ones that we have written on the bottom side there. What he discussed, basically removing the pavement in the gravel area down below, which removed a lot of hard surface area, actually reduced below what it was basically right now, so it's already existing, so.
Yeah, good point. It's not just the driveway, the tar driveway, it's the hard surface.
We'll turn around and all that base of the hill.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so that's I guess my points.
Anything further that you have or any questions by committee members for the additional information?
Is it still your intention to remove the 10th deck? And the other things that were mentioned last time?
If need be, yeah. I mean, the tent deck is not even it's kind of a slider, but that can be removed. The garden, I guess that's my question. If they have to remove the garden is is permanent. But, that's, I guess if it's the thing between us and the board, then we would consider that.
Any other questions or concerns for the applicant at this time?
Yes, I guess also basically what I asked in the previous one, we had submitted. It was 26% or about 7,000 for pervious surface. Now we've reduced to 5,300. So down to 19%. Just
Yeah.
20%, so.
If not, we'll let you go and we can open the public hearing then. At this time, we'll open public hearing for variance 2433. Any public comments?
Rafa Anderson, Siren, Wisconsin. And I guess I'm here speaking on behalf of the shoreland and waterways of Burnett County. And thank you for serving on the board. That's a challenging job to have. The reason I want to talk about the importance of shoreland zoning is, this is just pretty much, according to the most recent map that was in the packet, almost all of the new construction is, closer than 75 feet, where the rule, basically allows, after 35 feet, the DNR has allowed for certain exceptions, and that's, allowing a structure to stay, remodeling, adding in a vertical way, so there is a use of land, they've been using the land. And basically, just the reasons for shoreland, not having things in that 35 to 75 feet, just the degradation of the lake. And even if one house doesn't seem like it's gonna make a lot of difference, the cumulative effect of houses continuing to be built, closer than 75 feet, just the long-term effects on our waterways. The required water setback is 75 feet from the ordinary high water mark for anything outside of the existing footprint. A portion of the new deck will be located less than 35 feet to the ordinary high water mark. A large portion of the proposed new residence located outside of the existing cabin footprint does not meet the required 75-foot setback from the ordinary high water mark as shown, in the packet. It was kind of highlighted in orange. The applicant has the burden of proving that the request meets all the statutory requirements. All three statutory variance criteria must be satisfied to grant a variance. Unique physical limitations, that's potentially up for debate, depending what legally qualifies there. No harm to public interest. It's not just appearance, but it is the effect. And I think your letter that you received from the DNR, states that they don't feel like the applicant has met that requirement. In fact, it says the applicant has provided no information in the variance application to meet this standard. Unnecessary hardship. And, the DNR reiterated that they have not met that requirement. And they just haven't provided why this option doesn't provide reasonable use of the property without variances, because they do have use of the properties. And even though I know it's a difficult decision to make, they simply just don't meet all three criteria. Thanks.
Any other public comments? Applicant, we have the letter from the DNR that's in the packet. It was adjusted from, I believe, the first one from the first hearing too.
Yeah, so the new one is dated March 24,
Yep.
2025.
You want to read that, Jason? You wanna? We've, you know, we can choose, she touched on some of the points in there, it's been in the packet, it's admitted as evidence in the thing versus reuse,
Yeah,
everything that's there.
I mean, I can read it if you want me to.
I think we're okay, it's
Okay.
submitted, it's in the documentation, you've all looked at it, it's 2 pages, so. Any other public comments? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing. And the committee will deliberate amongst themselves and look towards a decision.
Sure. Can you comment on hardship?
If you, we kind of, I spun right through it quick, but if you want to elaborate, I'll reopen up the comment time. Obviously, you're the applicant, so we can go back and ask questions. In your application, do you want to read what you mentioned on hardship? Do you have any further evidence in that description? Because we have your application where you filled out your hardship questionnaire.
Don't have that.
Right, we got it here. Lateral expansion are allowed to non-conforming structures as long as they don't exceed closer to the setbacks other than the existing buildings. Is what we read. Lack of space for storage out of the elements and limited space is what you put in hardship, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. Did you want to add to that then, you're saying, or?
I guess just a point of clarification is, if we do live here, we do need a garage, and so that was, I guess, an added piece, for storage, et cetera. That garage is on the south side, so it's nowhere close to 75 feet from the lake. Regarding the structure itself, the only, I mean, we're not moving towards the lake in any manner. Where the expansion is going to the south, that whole area is within like 75 feet of lake shore. So the hardship is not being able to, because of one is, yes, we want to live there. In order to build, we have to build in such a way that there's no way to move back. So the hardship is we're dealt kind of the property and how it's constructed. There's only so much that we can do with that. But I think those are the main.
Perfect. Any other questions or concerns from the committee or thoughts after the evidence submitted?
I was thinking of some of the other cases that we've had. It's, I'm trying to remember if it's Brilliant Lake or something, and they wanted to move back or add back, but wasn't it that even if they go behind it, it still counts as the total? And you can't be within that.
So when any portion of your building is within 35 feet, you can only go vertical. If any portion of your building is within 35 to 75, you can only go up to 200 square feet within the 75-foot setback. Then you can add on more beyond the 75. So within that 75-foot limit or setback, you're limited to how much expansion you can do.
Mark, did you have any, did you see the DNR letter and
Yes.
the form?
Yeah.
They had a question on that measurement. Do you know that by chance? Cause their question states. You pull it out. How close is the proposed deck to the ordinary high water mark?
Well, if you throw a scale on it, on this blow up map, it's 25 feet is what I scale it at. I mean, graphically, it looks about like that number, so.
And that is the existing corner was already there.
Yeah, it looks like existing is about
Yeah. A couple feet.
26, 27. Proposed is 25, based on Mark's drawing.
I think the existing deck is closer than this.
The proposed one.
than proposed.
So in a sense, it has been moved back from the ordinary high water mark in that sense. And that might be that 5 feet you were talking about.
But according to this one, Mark, it's closer.
Hard to tell with the the existing front.
Because it looks like the proposed lines are the dark bold dashed. And the existing is the dashed dot line.
I think we just had a proposed house on there, not the deck on there.
You mean the existing house?
Existing.
Yeah. So if they aren't showing, because I think there is a deck on the lake side,
Yes. there
if
is.
they're not showing the existing.
Flip back and forth to actually understand. It has been out there, but.
I mean, I could pull up a picture to see if there's a deck on the lake side.
Currently. I guess that's a big factor in the, my mind saying is, okay, if it's existing, you got a flag there. The new proposed, is it closer or farther away or
That's
same
the one
distance?
they showed.
I was gonna say, where am I going? This is the garage. Same.
You're looking at sheet S.
I don't know what that one is.
I didn't see that. Yeah, I didn't see anything like that.
See there, we have that.
That looks pretty similar. Yeah, I got that there. So this is. Ultimately, both of them.
Right, and these lines intersect. Like it shows on here.
There is I have a photo pulled up here of the existing, there is a deck on the lake side of the house.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's just, it's hard. I don't know.
So
Saying if
this
it's
is the-
overly
I
confused.
think it shows going back a little further,
Pictures that I
now on this new drawing.
Yes, this is the old or existing deck,
Uh-huh.
that would be the proposed deck corner.
There it is.
So
15 yards. Issues for.
Yeah.
All these corners here, this one.
Yep. Right here. So these two corners existing. And new proposed.
So the existing is
This is
this
line.
hatched area.
Yep, so the new deck is actually closer to in the wetland.
Sure.
Yep.
The deck.
That's existing, that's proposed.
So the deck would be out here.
Jeremy, you might, can I
No,
approach?
this is the proposed deck.
That is right there.
I just wanna make sure that we're
Because
all.
this is the
I
building,
think Mark's got it.
this is the building line,
Yep.
This is the
Heavy
black
one.
one.
black, this is the building
The
line.
shaded one is the.
This is the
current
proposed
structure.
deck line. Right
Right
there,
here.
Yep, that's a proposed deck line.
Yeah,
And the
then this
existing,
one.
yep, that's the deck, and
And the
then this is
stair.
existing.
that's existing, yes, correct.
And that's all within, this is within
So
35.
that's
You're
where they're
currently-
talking, the slide back.
Yeah, that's
What's
why,
that
yes,
difference?
that's what we're saying, to move it moves back from that high level. Thank you.
That's this one, right?
Yeah, that's in the orange one, and just I didn't get the color on that. Thoughts, concerns? Said we've got the 3 steps that we look through, that. If you feel it's met that criteria, you can approve. If you feel it doesn't, you can deny.
The DNR didn't say anything regarding the removal of the paved surface, did they?
The old driveway.
No.
I think
Just
that,
thinking much hard surface that is compared to the additional from any more square foot on the roof, you know?
and what is the height is now 33-ish, something like that?
33.7 is what sheet 1.1 shows.
Yeah. That's,
Very difficult to prove unnecessary hardship in any case, I mean.
well, we can look at this from the thing, unique property limitations. I think we've stated that by moving the facility, the angle of the
Clearly.
hills, you know.
Clearly, yeah.
When you say unique, like I said, each case is independent, depending on what it is. We do try to stay on that 35 as a golden rule over times, but if I'm not. Speaking as to what it is, the current deck is already within that 35 feet, if we look at that in front. A majority of the proposed is moved back, and I think it'd be a fair statement to say that less is in the 35 feet than current.
Based on their drawings, yes.
Which is a common, I mean, you know, they're doing what they can to try to meet circumstance in that.
I think removing that driveway too, you know, having a hard surface, the rain has to just gush down there all the time. Putting on there will be a big improvement to the quality of the water. To get rid of that.
The third one we talk about is no harm to public interest. That's, you said, pretty subjective in its rule. I tend to look at if stuff's built to code, it's got a proper sewer that's listed. They talk about putting shoreline buffer zones and things like that are the current standard. In 25 or 50 years, the standard might change as it has in the past, and it will continue to move on that target. There were times houses were 5 feet from the lake, and there are times they're 100.
Right, right.
We're at the one spec here, so. And we were saying the total impervious is around 19%, and if I'm not, the metric's 20, is that correct, or is it 30?
30 is the cap.
Yeah.
Once you're at 15, then
That's
you
a
have
reg-
to start mitigating up to 30.
I always try to remember that.
It'll change probably too. Right when you remember it.
Yeah, I'll put it on my
Mhm.
meeting minutes here. Any other questions for the applicants or public comments or Jason?
Any way to calculate the square foot of that driveway? Suppose it's 10 feet wide or
We reduced it from what it was, the original one was 26%. And that was about 7,000 square feet, and now it's reduced to 53, which is about 1,700 square feet. All the differences between the two maps.
Yeah, it was 19% proposed about, right, impervious surface, and it was 27%
Was
with
26,
the.
Yeah.
Okay,
and there was 7,000 square feet of impervious surface originally, and now it's the 53.
yeah, so
17,000
1,700.
1,700 square feet.
A lot to go through. Any other further information? I know otherwise we could entertain a motion, or if there's other questions. Just to refresh the staff comments for stuff, the violations, we talked about that, you mentioned, Kathy, the planter box, or is that the deck or the, actually, yeah,
It's tent deck and then the planter box. That'll look in the setback.
And the planter boxes are in the fenced area, garden area.
Yeah, this is everything.
and those are
You want me to read
Consider-
my?
yeah.
You want me to read my 7 or 8 things? So you can all look over them while you're contemplating.
Yeah, you can.
So staff comments, 1, shoreline to follow state standard viewing and access corridor width, which is not to exceed 30% of the shoreline for the corridor width. And the vegetated natural area needs to be a depth of 37.5 feet landward from the ordinary high water mark. This is the same requirement as listed in state statute 596921 BD, which allows for up to 200 square feet of open site construction within the 75-foot setback. They have approximately 430 feet of shoreline, which will allow 129 feet of wide viewing access corridor. Number 2, gravel within 35 feet of the ordinary high water mark to be removed and replaced with natural native vegetation. Number 3, land use permit to obtained prior to construction. Number 4, septic system to be sized for the number of bedrooms. Number 5, survey new deck, which is the tent deck, and then the planter boxes to be removed by 10/1/2025. Number 6, install rain gutters on the dwelling and direct water to a rain garden rock trenches, work with county conservation staff for appropriate size location. Number 7, proper erosion control and stormwater runoff controls to be in place. Number 8, follow local county, state, federal requirements for this activity.
Any proposed action? I know, it's tough, it's no right or wrong. What you feel is right.
New property indication. But. You know, we talk about 35 feet. Not have the public input, everything about it, how long the moments. It's really.
Yeah, and if it wasn't for the removal of that hard surface, it would be an easy one, but that one to me is important too, isn't it? Because, like I said, it needs to hold it. Can live there now, and all that, but. Yeah, I didn't how you do that.
Want to make a motion? Understandable.
In this comment, is the board needs to decide if the requirements of the three-step variance test have been met, or if an alternative exists that would not require a variance or a lesser. Seems like. Come back
The only,
with this proposal, you know, from what we had talked about, and so. You know, the DNR really was talking about. The amount. What I could say was they were talking about that. And they asked about how close the footprint was to the ordinary high water mark.
Any other thoughts? Otherwise, I'll make an motion to approve variance 2433 Kelsey. Now remember, if you don't like it, you can vote no, because we make motions in the positive, not in the negative. So, motion is to approve with the 8 conditions that Jason, read. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Now look at that. It's like you're supposed to be the chair. You just have to get away with this all the time.
What was your vote?
I didn't vote yet.
Oh, okay.
So we got a 1-1, because if
Yeah.
it's not a tie, then I get the tiebreaker, so.
Don't get the big bucks.
Yeah, exactly. Do we know, like I said, I'm caught up in the fact that we are at what percentage is still in the 35 foot? Is it bigger or smaller? Do we have that answer through the thing? Because a lot of times when we're doing variances and they move and they're in there, it's like you're already grandfathered somewhat, you know, you're moving back. The advocate from the perspective of building the unit is like, okay, they've met the requirements we said the last time in the change. But it's that deck corner that still sticks out into the 35 feet that is, like I said, the holy grail of what we've done in the past, but the existing structure was already in there.
On the drawing, the shaded one, you can see the 35 foot setback, they have one at all, so.
Yep, so that's when it isn't in here square, but you're talking, if I'm not mistaken, this is the new. Wait,
Yeah, I outlined the,
is this this is the 35 here? right?
Yes. So that's the existing, this is further back, this was the. You said that was a wetland, not the lake.
Looks staying there, almost the same triangle on the,
It's officially all lake bed.
okay. Yeah, it don't matter if it's wetland or wetland. Now that I look at them, they look dang near exact same size. Is that your if I look at it as in, here's the arch of the 35 feet. If we take this shaded one, that's the existing.
Difference.
And the new one would be here, and I'd say the new one's maybe a little smaller.
Pretty darn close. Graphically, it's pretty close.
Yep, I don't see a difference.
This one and this one.
Actually, it's the other one. It would be this mark. See what we're saying is this is the existing and this is the 35-foot arc through it. So it's this triangle versus this triangle. That's what's currently within the 35-foot setback, right?
Yes.
Because this is 35 here. And they're real similar, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's 35, okay.
Because, you know, this portion of the house that was existing wasn't in
Compliance.
well, it was fine before and it's highlighted, but it doesn't, those two triangles do make a bigger picture of it, but that's because they moved it everywhere they can.
So you're thinking the difference is.
It looks like an apple to apple to me. What was in the 35-foot is still in the 35-foot, but we're giving them a variance on the outside of the thing hypothetically.
I think I have to go back to one more question too
Yep.
about that garden. Those are raised planters that extend to and stuff. Is that something that has to be moved in order for this to all fly? To get-
All the
to get the
conditions.
house variance that should have. to
You
go.
guys can ignore that one, but I can deal with it as a violation. So
Okay.
even if you guys, cause you can't grant a variance for that, cause that wasn't how that was posted. You can't say. Jason,
Yep.
ignore that, we're gonna let that be there, part of the variance, no,
Okay.
cause I can go after it as just a zoning violation on my own. But I usually put the stuff in there that are issues to get it,
So it's clean.
it gets corrected better when they know they have a project hinging on it versus me trying to go a whole separate violation route. Yeah.
Yes, I'm a no. So it's 2 against, 1 for. Variance denied. Sign previous decision.
Oh. Jeremy, can I?
The, Yep.
You got to move the second time or 10 here before this. I mean, we had we had put an addition on, we had variance approved. Didn't change any of the driveway, et cetera. Which I think is a big thing that we're changing in this. I don't really know what we can do based on. I don't really understand at this point what we can or can't do. I mean,
I'm voting on the 35 feet, to be honest. Anything within that 35 feet boundary is, because you could stay in the footprint and it can stay. But we've expanded the footprint significantly while in that 35 feet.
But we had our, when we put an expansion on. 3 years ago, we had an addition, which was in the same piece that we got approved. And, in that case, we didn't move the corner back on the north side. We didn't change the cabin, it's still in that thing. And we didn't take out the driveway. So. So are we saying that something changed that we wouldn't approve the variance that we approved before?
Well, the variance expired the first time and it's different people, they're gonna have
Right.
different,
Well, that's what I'm asking, I mean,
each one stands on its own merits if.
but I can't keep bringing things that, are you saying there's nothing that can be done? We can't build. As long as we're in that 30-foot setback. even
Well,
though we're
you
there.
have options right now without a variance. you can rebuild in the same footprint and go up to 35 feet tall. I think that's what they're telling you,
And they could have their garage and their,
if it meets the, I don't know, there wouldn't be the road setback.
Well, yeah, unfortunately, yeah, we're
Yep.
speculating a little on
Yeah.
other stuff, which I get the frustration and stuff, so. There is recourses and things on stuff, or you can
Yeah.
apply for a different variance with different parameters in it that may be compliant to the next, if it was to be heard again, so.
What resource?
You can appeal the decision that they made tonight, the circuit court.
Where did that?
Judge will make a decision then.
You got those documents, Chase?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that's right, we had 6 of them last week, right?
Yeah, 5 last one.
Will you just sign that? Yeah, I can, yeah, you can, yeah.
Yep. This one here was that garage, up in Union.
Yeah, see that one.
Line that over there. This one here was the garage in Woodruff. This was the addition of the Newberry Hill. This was the whole shed wetland and Meenan. And this was the dwelling, on Johnson Lake. Yep, that was the first one we did, Bluff Lake. Yep,
I know that when I was here,
yep.
we didn't have any representation.
Yes, I think they thought somebody was going to be here or wasn't or something, yeah, I don't know. You run out of pen juice there?
nothing wrong with it.
Motion to adjourn. Motion by Grassley, seconded by Daniel, all in favor, say aye. Aye, opposed, motion carries. We are adjourned.